Radio, but without politics, of course. Or we call it the Nobel Prize amateur radio without the money. Dayton was established around early 1800 because of two things. One, we've had the National Highway that intersected with the Erie Canal. So because of that, the technology originally started in the United States was in New England, moved to this area. We had water and a lot of resources, and of course, a lot of hardworking, smart people as well. Early in time, the technology here was bicycles, buggies, and automobiles up until 1900, and then along came the Wright brothers. And for some of you that are here, it's no coincidence we're having this here at the Carolina Historical Park. This really tells a lot about this area, and I hope you all have time after our meeting to spend time going through at least this area back here. But out at the end of the sidewalk is the Wright Brothers #2 flyer there, the original aircraft that started this. So please take in a little bit more of our history. Then Patterson came along with the National Cash Register, and there was a secret there for quite a long while during and after World War II. I think they called it the bomb. It was a computer that decoded the Enigma machines, and there's some things back here about that. We had a naval base here in town, and we had a whole contingent of Navy waves that ran that, and that was brought to the public only about 20 years ago. Then there was Kettering, and then Delco, and Delphi, and then eventually General Motors. We had a truck plant and a number of operations here before the last recession hit. Now, of course, the last recession was like a big vacuum cleaner, pulled everything out, but we've recovered. Currently now we are seeing a rise in medical technology, electronics technology, and of course the big employer here is Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Population-wise, it's the largest Air Force base in the world. We employ around 40,000 people, both uniform and civilian folks, and it really makes this area thrive. And I'm sure you ran into a lot of the Air Force folks as you were walking around. At the Air Force, we currently now have the 711th Human Performance Wing. Does all kinds of cool stuff. The Sensor Directorate, Air Force Research Laboratories, and United States Air Force Logistics Group. And so they do a lot of designing and buying of the aircraft here as well. But this area has been a technological center for quite a while. Just to name a few things, we've got inventions, the airplane, the automotive starter, the cash register, which you had a chance to see a lot of the beautiful ones back here, the leaded no-knock gasoline, the refrigerator, and Frigidaire was located here, the ice cube tray, of course, the punch card machine, the world's largest computer during World War II, the 885 Thyrotron rectifier tube, the parachute, nuclear batteries made at the mound. They did make triggers there as well. Pop-top can was invented here by Dayton Reliable Tool. Liberty aircraft engine, which was used in World War I and World War II. I see Frank shaking his head here, know a lot about that one. And the computer terminal with NCR, laser scanning machines with Mound Laser, the thermistor temperature probe at YSI, automotive thermostat at Vernay, laser metal printing at United Technologies Corporation. The B-52 Boeing for the United States Air Force was designed in a hotel here in town, and still flying today, and will probably fly 100 years, and a whole lot more. The area, the triangle defined by Columbus, Cincinnati, and Dayton, at one time had more patent attorneys than any other place in the United States, and more patents coming out of this area, and still do. And of course, because of that, this was ground zero for radio technology. Many of you, if you really enjoy outstanding radios, Drake, the R.L. Drake Company was here in town and designed and manufactured some of the finest radios, ham radios, ever be made. And of course, with technology equals ham radio, and here we are. Dayton is still the center for innovation. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background about what the region is and why we're here. Tonight we'll be celebrating, of course, the Special Achievement Award, the Technical Achievement Award, Club of the Year, and Amateur of the Year, and what I think is a very, very fitting place. So please take some time to learn a bit more about us, but that's why we're here. Thank you.
Dreadfully bad guy. I just realized there were quite a few names of people that I didn't introduce, and I did not do that on purpose. And we had to do this table shift thing, and I got kind of quickly. We were expecting one more table. We had everything set up and all the lists, and we tried to change some things around. So, Jim Neese, did I introduce you? Okay. And also. Let's see, where's Joe at here? I'm right here. Yeah. And I missed our CQ people, and that was certainly not on purpose. I apologize for that. But we have Rich Moseson here and his associate editor, Jason Feldman. And the president of AMSAT is here, Joseph Spear, and vice president of AMSAT, Paul Stutz. Am I saying right? Stutzer? Stutzer. That's good. And the president of the Quarter Century Club is here, Ken Oakey. Ken, I apologize. And I also think I missed Keith Baker, KP1SF. Keith is the treasurer of AMSAT. Now I want to ask you, who did I miss? Please tell me. I am really sorry for that. Anyway, before we eat, I'd like to say a few words, if you would bear with me. I'd like to take this time to thank the Creator for all of us, no matter what religion or what beliefs that we have. We walk together in peace and harmony, and we're very grateful. We're grateful for each other. We're grateful for the opportunity to share a great hobby together. We're also grateful for the opportunity to understand other cultures and ideas. And what we are communicators, and we're asking for help to be even better communicators and more peaceful people. So thank you for this great gathering and this wonderful food that we're about to have. So whoever you believe in, or if you don't, just take a moment. Okay, let's eat. Thank you.
He is on our International Relations Committee.
Go ahead.
No way to keep work.
No, 180. 180. 200.
Tom, hello. How you doing, Dave?
We did. Are we in the line from?
Award, and it is going to the Portage County Amateur Radio Service. And I'd like to bring the whole group up here. Jim will be doing a little bit of talking. He is the president of the club right now. Go ahead and start up. And actually, there are a couple of other members back there. Make sure you come up too. But Jim is here, the president of the club. He's going to be accepting for the club. We also have Tom. We have Rick. And now that they've all moved, I can't tell you which is which. Chuck is here. And Dave Saunders is here. And Bob. Right here. Okay. The president graciously said he would talk about the club and give you all the information rather than force you to do this. But we spent a lot of time going through all of the applications for the different areas, just a whole lot of time. We couldn't decide on several of the awards, and we had phone calls the next day and the next day, and finally came to an understanding. And from that, we have a number of extremely good winners this year. So I will stay back. I don't know where
The award yet to be found.
Thank you.
I was elected because I worked for the government 3 minutes max. We're Portage County Amateur Radio Service, and we've been a club for 12 years? Yeah, about 12 years. We're a young club. And we were founded because the original founders, of which Tom is one, got bored with the club they were part of. A couple of things we founded our club on was, number one, we had to be doing things. We couldn't just meet once a month and sit around and chat and leave, and maybe get together for a field. We had to do stuff. And the second thing, and far more important, was we had to have some fun. Our club has 170 members. Over 50% of those members are extra class. The smallest percentage we have are technicians. We continuously educate. We have invented our own events. I believe we can take responsibility for OSPATA, that's for sure, which the ARL uses as, I believe, a model to get national parks on the air. We have Freeze Your Acorns Off, which is a winter event. A lot of ham clubs have, but we have a winter event in February. In Ohio, that's a test. But we over 40 hours of activities every month, ranging from build days to contests to meetings to social events. We pretty much cover the gambit. But our objective is to provide something for every one of those 170 members. I can't say we're perfect at it, but we are continuously improving in that regard. We'd like to thank everybody for getting this award. We really do. We appreciate it. It's a big deal. But it's not the end for PCARS. We have a lot of other goals that we need to meet. We need to get more young people involved. We've all talked about this and talked about this and talked about this. But we are going to get more young people involved. Not just children, but young adults. And we need to get that fostered so that our hobby will continue. We'd like to win field day. I know it's not a contest. I shouldn't even say it. It's not a contest. We'd like to win the non-contest. But we would really appreciate the award, and it's just another step in our getting to the community better. Thank you very much.
All the awards are boxed up right now. I could go through all of them for the next 5 minutes, but maybe we'll wait for the pictures. Right. Thank you.
We'll wait.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I swap chairs with you, please? Mike, does the PA go a little louder? Can the PA go a little louder?
Can the PA go a little louder?
Like that? There you go.
I think it's just,
Well,
we have to learn how to use the mic.
oh,
I have a soft voice.
You have some.
Okay.
It's your management style. But it's good stuff. Excellent. The next award will be given by, it'll be our Special Achievement Award. And I'd like Dr. Rick Allnut to come up and give this award.
I have a little story to tell you this evening. It started with a 7-year-old boy whose dad bought a used car, and in that used car there was a Citizens Band radio. Now, I know that most of us don't think that Citizens Band radio is going to end up with anything that's particularly good, but this one did. Because this radio sort of became the nucleus of how this 7-year-old boy became interested in radio. It was not too many years later, in fact it was this last year, that same 7-year-old boy that had first begun getting interested in radio, who had then progressed and had become an amateur radio operator, was sitting in Puerto Rico right after a major hurricane had come through and destroyed almost everything that was down there. There was no power, very little power. Many people had been killed. Nobody knew exactly what was going on. And one of the commercial radio operators said, if there are any ham radio operators that could come, would somebody please come over here? We need to make some contacts back, especially with people's families, and let them know that they're okay. And this radio operator, Emilio, decided to, well, he said, you know, I'm sure there are lots of people that will show up. And so finally, a day later, when he came over to the radio station, he found out that he was the first one that had come. And he was thinking, well, let me see, if you're going to put together a whole way to be able to deal with this, how would you do this? And so he found that there was a local radio repeater, an amateur radio repeater, and he was able to find 2 other amateurs on that repeater, and they were Tito and Herb, and they said, sure, we'll come on down and we'll help you out. And they began the process of talking to people, mostly in the United States, but all over the world, people's families where they knew that there was a message that needed to get out. This person was just fine. This person wasn't doing well. But mainly messages of good news that this had occurred and that their family members were okay. And the joy that then caused was absolutely amazing. That is the special achievement that we celebrate tonight. And I'd like to ask Emilio and Tito and Herb to come on up here and be recognized to say something to us.
Thank you. We are so proud to be an American and to be here. We are so proud of our American friends, our brothers that help us. We were having people dying in Puerto Rico. Everybody was dying. And I'm not going to talk too much. I was military. I'm retired. I know some of you guys are also work in the military. And I met these 2 gentlemen over here, which I didn't know, but now they are my brothers too. I'm very proud of them too. So the only thing I have to say about this is that we are not the heroes. You guys are the heroes, because you saved our lives. Thank you very much.
It's a lot to say, very little time. I want to make it short and sweet. To the organization that handles all the committees, thank you so much for this recognition. I want to give special thanks also to the gentleman that placed the nomination for what we did. Thank you very much, Jerry Hall and Chip Cohen. Thank you so much for helping us out in the times of need. This historical event may not ever happen again, but it will remain in the hearts of 3 men and more than 45 ham radio operators across the United States who kindly gave their time, effort to step up to make this mission a success. Because we did bring a lot of happiness to many people. More than 5,000 messages were delivered. Thanks to all of you. These events will remain in our hearts as a permanent bond, sealed by the brotherhood of ham radio operators. On September 20th, 2017, Hurricane Maria gave us a great lesson. Out of the many lessons that we learned, I want to leave in your hearts tonight one of the biggest one that we did learn was kindness And the objectives of ham radio operators to serve when duty calls. It has been proven beyond any reasonable doubt that no matter what the emergency might we have, man-made or natural disaster, when everything fails, we ham radio operators will lift our nation up with pride and dignity, and we will keep moving forward as ham radio operators. So when the duty calls, we will be there. Thank you all. God bless America.
Good evening. My name is Hiro. Whiskey Papa 4 Sugar Delta. It's a pleasure to be here. You guys this evening. Now we want to thank the organization for giving this support, one in a lifetime opportunity to be here with you. We thank you very much. I'll be very short, but I want to thank God to give us the strength, give us the help to help other people with the help of you guys. This wouldn't be possible if you guys would not be there to complete those messages. Thank you very much.
Our next award will be our Technical Achievement Award. And Jack Gerd, our Assistant General Chairman for Hamvention, is going to give that award. And so, Jack, I want to remind you, what yours is.
Thank you, Mike. And the call is Whiskey Bravo 8 Sierra Charlie Tango. It's a friendly competition between.
Never mind.
My call.
Anyway, here's Jack.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me okay? I don't like it. Somebody use it? Okay, I'll use it. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes. You're really loud.
Before I announce the recipient of the Technical Achievement Award, I do have a question, and by a show of hands, how many have used a fractal antenna? Okay, a lot less than I did. Barb, you had an inside advantage there. The reason I say I'm surprised is fractal antennas are used in many, many devices that we use commonly. They've been in many, many of the cell phone designs, and I'm sure most of you knowingly have used a fractal antenna at one time. This year's award recipient is Chip Cohn, W1YW. Chip has been an amateur radio operator for 52 years. He was a professor at Boston University, and as a professor, he connected fractal geometry with antenna design. What's kind of really neat is for the fractal antenna design and all the development work he did that all on ham radio, or he used ham radio as the platform to do that. So ham radio, again, has affected many of us, and Chip is a fine example of what we can develop as we go forward with the tools we have. Chip is an avid yes, sir. He's got 355 confirmed contacts.
Countries.
Thank you. He is also a fellow of the Radio Club of America, And something a lot of you don't know is Chip is also a professional guitarist, and he writes his own music. So, Chip, please come up and accept the MTV and the Hamvention Technical Achievement Award.
Can you hear me? Yeah. You know, ham radio is the only field you can be in where being loud is a compliment. I'd like to thank DARA for this special evening and congratulate my fellow awardees. And now I'd like to give you the reason I'm here. I was the kid that stuck his finger in the light socket. Some of you may think that explains a lot. I made my first invention at age 6, and at age 11 I got my hand taken. From then on, there was no holding me back because I was immersed in a friendly, wireless world which was fabulously unlike my limiting hometown. Human nature being what it is, not everyone is always friendly. Some of you are aware of the tortuous 30-year path of the innovation of fractal antennas, fractal resonators, electronics, the invisibility cloak, and so on. You can't not see the very verbal resistance to that among some in our ranks. But this is typical territory for innovators who understand the outrageous realities of Darwinism with its die-offs and resurrections. I was allowing none of that on fractal antennas. I became champion for the technology I created and took more than my share of arrows. I shot quite a few of them back. The pioneer didn't die, and the technology today is exploding on a global scale across both wireless and telecom. Kids get taught it in math class. College students get graded on it in universities. Do-it-yourselfers praise me for bringing in Green Acres reruns from 150 miles away. The bottom line is I did it from the beginning of ham radio. I haunted flea markets. I had a love-hate relationship with Radio Shack and MFJ. I built my own antenna range. I used crystal control 2-meter rates. I funded it from slim earnings, and unlike this first-class meal here tonight, ramen noodles and SpaghettiOs. I learned to hate SpaghettiOs. The bottom line is that fractal antennas are ham-grown. I'm proud to be a ham, and you should be too. Listen, Part 97, ham radio in the United States, is under fire from those who pose us as merely armchair hobbyists. Running an antenna company, I see that intense criticism all the time. This is happening because we are under-leveraging who we are. We are makers by nature and innovators by choice. What's the difference? Makers make for fun. Innovators make for need and have fun doing it. All innovators are makers, but that's where it starts. But most makers never take the next step. Historically, ham makers prodigiously make that next step. But in recent years, that bridge has been less clear and certainly under-celebrated. I do hope that as we move forward, we're going to continue to have greater celebration of our own built-in innovation culture and nurture that next step. Let's look to tomorrow, literally. Somewhere out in the Hamvention flea market, there will be young hams eyeing junk box treasures. They're not looking for D104 microphones. They're there to work on their own secret project. And they're doing what they're supposed to do. They know the FCC tells us to do great things, not only for ham radio, but the general enhancement of the radio art. And remember, great things often start out looking dicey, and the people who accomplish them are often seen as the wrong people to do it. The world can be a cruel place, but it's almost always wrong in its initial gut reactions. We built this city, this radio city, and we, ham innovators, will continue to do so with our innovation mandate of Part 97 and the friendly, come-as-you-are culture that is truly the heart of amateur radio. Thank you.
All right, our next award will be given by Frank Viafor, and it's the Amateur Radio Operator of the Year, a very coveted award, a very amazing award. I think we've had people, actually I want to remind you that the people that win these awards are in competition with amateur radio operators throughout the world. It's not an easy thing to get these. It's not easy to get by us either, because over the years, we've developed a pretty good matrix to figure out exactly what happens, and what have they done, who do they affect, and what all is involved, and we have to verify everything. So this is a very difficult award to win, extremely difficult. And we've had Nobel laureate physicists win this award. And we've had top-level instructors win this award, right? And scientists win this, other scientists win this award. So we are really, really excited to give this award, and pleased that we get to do this at the Hamvention. So to give this award is my friend Frank Viafor, WSAP. Frank?
Thank you, Michael. Congratulations to all the winners this evening. It's a real privilege and an honor to introduce our Amateur of the Year Award, Valerie Hosfeld. I've learned a lot about Valerie in the last few days, and I think you'll learn a little bit more about her this evening. Actually, she's only been a ham for around 12 years, but what she's done in the last 12 years is pretty phenomenal. She stumbled into ham radio with her daughter, and then got involved in DX and DX contests, which you say, okay, well, why is that award worthy? They give their own awards, but she learned a lot about what's going on in DX, and then expanded her talents to getting involved in various types of public service. During the big hurricane in Texas, she was monitoring and running net control for that operation, and found that there were a lot of rescues going on, including rescuing of pets and animals, which they were losing. And she just strapped it on with her son, went on down there, and jumped in and ran that operation. And from what she learned there, then Hurricane Maria hit, and she ended up getting deployed with ARRL and that group down to Puerto Rico, and added all that on there, and then grown into what she's doing today. She also is now starting to get involved with youth radio and other things, and being a young ham, just let's watch her grow. You're going to hear a lot more about her. So Valerie, please come on.
Well, I'm a phone contester, so I don't mind the microphone at all. Hopefully you can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, back in 2006, my daughter and I, we got our ticket together. We did not know anybody in amateur radio, so it was a learn and grow experience, but I lived in the middle of nowhere, and so I was trying to hit a repeater. The nearest one was in Milwaukee with my little diamond stick, and I was crackling a lot, and I couldn't afford a better antenna, and everybody was complaining I needed a better antenna. Well, the next day I come home from work, and sitting in my driveway is a 13-element 2-meter beam. Where did this come from? And I go and I read my email, and a gentleman donated it to me. He wanted to remain anonymous, and he said, I'm very active in a lot of groups, and so I always remember that paid forward. So ham radio, it became my home. I just fell in love with every aspect, and I love exploring every aspect of the hobby. I don't think I've found anything I've really hated in this hobby. I've tried so many things, and I just can't wait to explore and find more things. You know, we always have those milestones in our life. Our children are born. My children graduated high school or when they graduated college, and those are great milestones. And we always have our goals. You know, when I got DXCC or 9-band DXCC or 2,000 band countries, those are all well and great, but it's the milestones in ham radio that really sit with me. And I've had a few. So, meeting Jerry, going to be on Hamvention. And because of my experience in contesting and getting over my fear of being on TV and stuff, when Hurricane Harvey struck, I chipped in and as you heard, I've helped to, I was a dispatcher to help them rescue and save small animals, which had nothing to do with amateur radio, but amateur radio, my contesting and my experience helped me with that. And then when I went deployed, I really got bit by the public service bug again. So when I was asked to go to Puerto Rico, I couldn't wait to go, and I was so glad I was accepted because I will remember that experience for the rest of my life. It was one of the things and this is another one of those milestones. I am so honored to receive this award. And I know I have a lot of work to do to keep and make you proud of giving me this award. And I look forward to trying to keep that promise for you every day. And I really want to say hats off to these guys because not only did they help, they were impacted themselves. Yeah. So to be able to do that, my hats off to you guys down there. You guys really did a lot. So thank you, everybody.
Don't you think that's an amazing group of award winners? Great stories, a lot of giving back, and little did you know that when you went and took that test to get your amateur radio license, that you would end up being recognized for being so outstanding in whatever your field is, but especially in amateur radio. I want to thank everybody for attending this evening. We're really not quite done. We have a docent over here, and that docent, please take the time to just walk through this beautiful museum. And it's a museum of manufacturing and innovation, as we talked about innovation. Dayton, Ohio region is an area of innovation, as Frank mentioned. We'd love to share that with you. It's a very beautiful museum. So appreciate all of you coming, and it's, you know, I just feel so at home. I think I know almost everybody here, and very glad to have this dinner, share this dinner with all of you. So give yourselves a round of applause. Amazing people here that do amazing things for amateur radio to keep it alive and keep the spirit of the brotherhood of amateur radio alive. So thank you very much. The bar will remain open. You know, it doesn't mean you gotta walk out. It means you can do some conviviality and go through with the docents here if you'd like to. Thank you so much for attending. Congratulations.